Capes on the Couch podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Dr. Issues is a psychiatrist, but he is not your psychiatrist and does not have knowledge of your individual situation. For any personal mental health concerns, please consult your own healthcare providers. For medical emergencies, please call 911 or the designated number in your area immediately. Remember that you are not alone and help is out there.
Hello and welcome to Capes on the Couch, where comics get counseling. I'm Anthony Sitko.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
This is a very special episode. This is issue 115, and this is our first ever film commentary as a way to say thank you to the fans for supporting us all these many years, and also because our attempts at getting a creator interview for Bat March fell through. We did have a backup plan. And that is to record a commentary on the 1989 classic Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman film. So if you're familiar with riff tracks, this is going to be sort of our third-rate bastardization of it.
Or for the people who never got into riff tracks, if you remember the show Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Which
is the same people, I know.
It's the same people as riff tracks. So here's how this is going to work. If you'd like to follow along with us, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you to pause this MP3. I'll count down 3, 2, 1, pause. And then when the movie starts, you'll see the Warner Brothers logo, the shield, come up onto the screen. And then as it fades, it will fade away. When you see Warner Brothers Presents pop up on the screen, that's when you unpause our MP3 or whatever version you're listening to on this. So when you see Warner Brothers Presents, unpause it and you'll be synced up. So I'll give you the opportunity to pause it in 3, 2, 1. As Danny Elfman's iconic Batman theme fills the speakers. God, it's just, this theme is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the type of thing that I don't care if you're a DC person or a Marvel person, everyone knows this music.
Batman. This music for me always makes me think of the Batman ride at Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yes. One of the best roller coasters ever created, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. That ride is like about 30 years old, and it is still friggin' amazing.
Yeah. For those of you that are not from this area or never had the opportunity to go to Six Flags, the wait lines were really long, but the entire theme of the ride, that was the first time I can say for myself going to amusement parks where they actually put the entire ambience of the movie, of just Gotham in general, they put that around the ride. So you didn't complain nearly as much about the long wait, at least in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, it was great because they had the a Gotham City Police Department car there with bullet holes in it. They had sound effects. Alfred was narrating things. Michael Goff speaking throughout the wait time.
Yeah. Apparently I was some kind of danger.
Fasten your safety belts. You may be in for a bit of a bumpy ride. And directed by Tim Burton.
Whoever that is.
There needs to be more gongs in movies, in themes.
I would agree, except the first thing I think of whenever someone says gongs is more like the Gong Show, which is the complete opposite.
Yes, that's true. Now, it's just, it's interesting because I haven't seen this movie in like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so just watching it now with, adult eyes
Mm.
is just something that it's just strange.
Eh, well, I mean, at this point, what I'm seeing is this is my version of what I always considered New York to be. So watching this, all I kept thinking, and I'll admit part of this is ingrained in me now. Oh boy, I hope we don't get slammed for this. I'm not a fan of New York.
Me
I
neither.
yeah, I mean, I like everything that New York has to offer. I love going to Broadway shows when my wife forces me to. I mean, when I choose to. I love a lot of the restaurants. I love the museums. The general feel of walking around in New York, I can't stand.
Yep.
And this movie definitely fit that for me.
Well, you also have to remember this was 1989, and this is before Giuliani was mayor of New York, and for better or worse, made a lot of changes to the city and cleaned
Yeah.
things up.
Yeah.
So this presentation of Gotham was still very much in line with what mainstream America believed New York was like.
Yeah. Fair enough.
As we see now, the famous mugging of
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Wayne, or just a mugging.
Yeah. I was going to say.
I forgot. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
they don't
This
start.
isn't.
Yeah, they don't start with that. They just start with a random mugging, so you get the feel because you got to start low level. Don't make him seem too overpowering, but just the idea that he could take out any of these two big thugs, fairly easily.
Also, very clearly an animated, shot of him up on the rooftop.
Not to mention the overly grungy look.
Oh yeah, Johnny Gobbs. What kind of a name is Johnny Gobbs?
I don't know. It reminds me of Taz with Joey Numbers.
Johnny two times. Gonna go get the papers. Get the papers.
Gotta admit, even out of context, if someone came up to you and just spread their arms like that with a cape on in the middle of the night, like, yeah, I'm definitely going the other way. I mean, it's like, dude, you're on something.
Oh yeah. Also, apparently, Batman is bulletproof.
Well, actually, they do make a point of that. It truly is like body armor. Not that, by the way, don't try that at home. Even if you have Kevlar vests, it still hurts like hell, and you probably would be down. So, yeah.
I'm Batman. So he just kicks the crap out of them and then leaves.
Well, hey, it's to send a message to anyone that's around them too. Okay, so first, it's not even a controversial thing, but thoughts on, of all people, being Harvey Dent, Billy D. Williams.
I got nothing against Billy D. Again, I haven't seen this movie in 30 years, so I don't know
They don't.
how Billy
They
D is going to play.
Yeah, they don't do much with it, but in hindsight, thinking about it, there was a big opportunity here that I don't know. I feel like some things could have been said that weren't. My only thought at the time was, are they going to have him hold up a can of Colt 45?
Well, apparently he took the role knowing that this movie was not going to be a big part for him, but that in a future sequel he would take over as Two-Face.
Well,
That didn't work.
right. And now we get the uncanny valley of the Jack Nicholson experience. And the reason I say it that way is certain actors have crossed a threshold. You can't see them other than who they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Denzel Washington falls into that. Samuel L. Jackson, obviously, you know, Jack Nicholson crossed that a long, long time ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, certain actors disappear into their roles. Others, I always like to say there's actors and there's movie stars.
Mm,
Jack Nicholson is a movie star.
yeah,
When he was younger, he was an actor.
right.
De Niro, when he was younger, was an actor. Pacino was an actor. Now they're movie stars.
Yeah,
Gary Oldman is an actor.
right. Still, because and here's my litmus test for that. It's okay even if you know the name, but when you see someone in a movie and you go, oh, that's and it takes you just that split second because you can't remember the name, but you even see like you know fully well you've seen them before, still can't place it, like still blend in enough. I don't know why it's the finance buff in me. Like, what's he pulling down after taxes?
I just like Robert Wall. I think he's kind of underrated.
I may be the only person on the planet that loved the show Arliss.
I heard really good things about it. I never got a chance to see it because I didn't have HBO.
Right. It was a mixed bag, which is why I didn't have that many seasons, but my dad and I loved it. This takes a new meaning for me in terms of his position in all of this, because now that I've seen The Departed, I can't help but look at him as a gangster that way.
Very true. Now, let's talk about the aesthetics here, because the architecture and the style of Gotham in this movie is just, unlike anything before, frankly, or since, in terms of comic book movies.
Mm.
This Art Deco, gothic style that's just overblown.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It makes Gotham its own character in the movie. It has a very distinct feel, and say what you will about how the Nolan trilogy grounded the character in reality and really made, so much of the rest of the mythos very important. I think this film, and at least the first two, did such an outstanding job of establishing Gotham City itself as a character with a very clear visual identity, more so than, just shooting in Chicago as Nolan did, where it was just more generic big city.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to call it goth punk. Like, I could see an entire world built this way where you took noir, just the noir setting and ambiance and just moved it forward even into modern day. I don't know. That's the way I always thought about it.
And now we get Vicky Vale, who's a character I know next to nothing about in the comics.
I admit I haven't done much research other than I've seen this movie many, many times. Even as a little kid, I always just thought to myself, oh, so they had to make sure they did their version of the Daily Planet and get in that way.
The great Jack Palance. This makes me want to rewatch City Slickers, by the way. The hell kind of suit is that? That's a style.
And that's the point. It's a hint. It's the idea that
I know that.
if I didn't know better, I'd say this was a setup.
Jack Palance kind of matching Nicholson in the scenery chewing ham and cheese here.
I don't know how these guys felt about comics or anything, but you get the feeling, and maybe I'm wrong, that the second they said, hey, we're going to do a Batman movie and we're not going to do the campy version, how many of them just literally said, oh, hell yeah, I'm all in on that. And I'm just going to go hog wild on it.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I guess I hadn't really considered that from that perspective. But I mean, I know Burton wanted to obviously make a darker film. He didn't want to do the whole, campy, biff bam pow type stuff. But I don't know what the actors thought of the idea of playing this straight, so to speak. We get some of that Prince background music.
Uh-huh.
Everybody here's in black except for Vicky Vale. And here we see Michael Keaton getting to do a little bit of comedy.
Mm.
That was one of the biggest things that created a lot of controversy when it was announced that he was going to be playing Batman, because Keaton was known as a primarily comedic actor, Mr. Mom, etc. And now
Right.
he's playing Batman.
Yeah. You know, I appreciate the age that we grew up in because we were able to see the transitions of a lot of actors and actresses in different settings. I grew up, totally unrelated example, but I grew up with Leslie Nielsen as one of the funniest men ever. Meanwhile, the man had done drama for about 35 years before the whole Naked Gun movies. So, yeah, Tom Hanks, another one where I'm thinking of Big and Bosom Buddies and all that, and then he announces he has AIDS, and we get Philadelphia. Like it's, it's just fascinating how actor, how careers can really change over time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a whole TV tropes article on Tom Hanks syndrome of actors going from the comedic to the serious. I mean, you talk about Leslie Nielsen, it was even before Naked Gun, he with Airplane. That's really
right. That's a good point. Yeah.
That's where it really started. We go into, this looks like a John Woo type shot here as they go into this church. Like I expect doves to fly out. It's from like Face Off, like.
Mm-hmm.
Is she wearing like a wedding dress?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, I could see a prom dress like that too. And right now, you have Keaton doing what I love to do to people, which is just be there the entire time and nobody know.
Oh, you're great at that.
I've gotten slapped for it once.
I don't doubt it. It's funny, as soon as he said that, oh, some people think she has two. I was literally just about to make the joke that, oh, she actually has two eyes.
Which is why you basically, let's just say watching Arliss, your name came up, especially with my dad. He's like, oh my God, if Tony were a sports agent, this is him.
Wouldn't it be that nice to just ask for money and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, uh, which reminds me of a behavioral finance point. When people say they want to be a billionaire or used to say want to be a millionaire, but the point is that's not what they want. What they want is they want to be able to spend $1 billion. That's what people think. And unfortunately, it's usually the exact opposite. So,
Very true. What would you do with $1 billion?
hmm.
I'm talking like Brewster's Millions type deal. You have to spend it.
Uh-huh. Well, define spend, because there are plenty of organizations that I think I would be willing to give that money to after I establish enough of a combination of, a, you know, because when people say spend it, I'm like, okay, I could spend it however I want. If I spend it on buildings, it doesn't matter what the buildings are used for, right? So I build a real estate empire that way and then make sure that all the money gets siphoned off to the foundations with just enough for my family to be able to live off of comfortably. Sorry for the boring answer.
I appreciate that Bruce Wayne's security cameras happen to have the exact same angle as the film camera that we just saw earlier.
Yes, because whenever you go into a room and you search for things, you get that dramatic lighting effect with flashlights. Oh.
Al Capone's vault.
Beat me to it.
Now, this looks like something out of the old 66 show.
And I can guarantee you nobody shows up with police that way, even police commissioners. Which, once again, a police commissioner would never say.
Well, a police commissioner would never be boots on the ground like that in a bust like this.
Yeah, you can't, but I'm just pointing out, you can't direct, even if you're in charge, you cannot direct officers to not use force when force is clearly necessary after multiple people have shot at you. I mean, that's asking for extra people to die.
Yep. Both cops and the criminals, graduates of the Stormtrooper Academy for Marksmanship.
Okay, so this scene with that guy hanging, I swear to God, as a kid, I was like, did he just totally just strip his neck? He'd be he would have been decapitated. My dad's like, no, it caught him by the lapel. I'm like, and even as a kid, I'm like, that's BS.
Cop shooting at a fleeing suspect.
Don't.
So much for white privilege. Really? The backhand? You couldn't have just turned around and punched him square in the face? Also, how much of a pain in the ass you think it was for Keaton to constantly have to move the cape behind him?
A very underrated point.
I mean, we're not even discussing the fact that he literally couldn't move his head in the cowl.
Hence the backhand.
Yeah, but how would he even know if he can't move his head? How would he even know that he was, behind him.
You can hear someone's footsteps coming, man.
Footsteps.
Just a point. Just in general with gunshots, I know most people know this. You do not jump back with gunshot wounds. You simply drop where you are. Like, huh? Who? Me?
Smoke bomb. Keep a lid on it. You just had like 15 cops in there. They all saw the same Batman. They all saw Napier fall into the vat of chemicals.
Yep.
In what universe can you keep a lid on it? Also, he's holding the tape recorder up to the microphone and not the mouthpiece end, not the earpiece end.
Great point. Wow, she's wearing the literal white hat.
Yep. Does Diane Keaton know her wardrobe got robbed? Diane Keaton loves her some hats.
I love this scene as a kid.
Also, to back it up a scene, I'm still confused by the relationship between Vicky and Knox. Like they just met. They're like, they're both reporters, but all of a sudden, like they're working together and he's hitting on her incessantly. And she's like, oh, you. I'm just like, what is happening?
I just love the idea that, and once again, this is my kid brain talking. I always viewed that scene as, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the formal thing, although no one actually said this, and then realizing this is stupid. Good night, Dad.
Now, don't get into any hanky-panky whilst I'm gone.
See, knowing Alfred, he would say the opposite. Do you need a condom, sir?
Are you carrying protection? And I don't mean the utility belt kind. That's a mathematician's answer. Some of it is me, some of it isn't. I'm going to weasel way out.
Hey, man, it's like a freaking first date.
Surgery. There's just, I love that convenient sign, surgery, because, the rest of the ambiance of this location isn't doing it.
Yeah, okay, I'll admit, and I know other people have pointed that out. I was like, if you're gonna be a blacklist surgeon, you're not hanging a sign saying surgeon, even if it is just saying surgeon. The other thing is, a blacklist surgeon would not be operating by himself, and he definitely would have tons of protection just for psychopaths like this. Just saying.
I'm getting very much, eye of the beholder type vibes.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he made him pay in advance.
Oh, I'm certain of that. It looks like he had, he looked like he had a good amount of sherry there.
Or it was just, a different bottle. Or
Also,
he was Bill Cosby.
I was going to say, is Bruce Wayne taking advantage of drunk women? Is this something we need to discuss in the Me Too era?
At what point did it seem like she was not consenting?
I'm just saying, if she's intoxicated, her inhibitions are certainly lowered.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking even the basic question.
Well, we don't know anything further.
Great point. That's right. You got to get that last drink in, man.
The drink to steal his nerves. Therapy.
It's just as good as I remember the first time.
I like the instrumental use of the motif, but in, a softer version here. This is making me think of a very off color Anthony Jeselnik joke, which is to say, all Anthony Jeselnik jokes are off color, but I'm not going to include it in the commentary.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, the amount of heat that would be necessary to generate that would not be purely transmitted to the other person. I guarantee you the Joker would have lost his hand on that, let alone probably his whole arm. Not to mention everyone around them would be uncomfortably hot and leave the room. Not to mention the idea that you couldn't just contain if it's not just thermoregulation, it's electricity, which means that there's a chance that it arcs to just about all of the other metal in that room. Not to mention, okay, I'll stop.
I was waiting for you to just peter out.
Well, apparently Joker couldn't.
All the people you have working for you, and he's your number one guy? Even if that is supposed to be, the callback to what Carl said to him. Whose number one guy is a guy named Bob? I got to tell you, all of this laughing got to be a hell of an ab workout for Nicholson's diaphragm.
Yes.
Oh, silly reporter. I'm on to Bruce. Forget Bruce Wayne. I'm on to Batman.
I just love the idea of someone tailing someone out of their private grounds, which clearly wouldn't have anybody else within a couple of acres. And like, nope, 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 didn't notice.
Yeah.
Though I'm digging that hat.
Okay.
What? I can't just say I think it's a nice hat?
I didn't say you couldn't. Now, again, not having seen this movie in 30 years, I don't know if we actually get to see a flashback.
Oh, don't worry.
What kind of weird ass mime is this?
The best kind of mime. Drunk. Gotta love. I love this like I love this type of cinematic. Like you could just see everything happening sideways. Like things are just like weird enough that if you're paying attention, you're like, how are people missing this? And yet, I guarantee you, if you're in that moment, you have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
With his pen. Now, how much faith or lack thereof do you need to just know that all of your henchmen are going to miss every single one of their shots against you?
Yeah, that's brazen.
Which is not that much different than Heath Ledger's version, which was like, even if things went wrong because it was causing chaos, it still is considered going right. Like in theory, if one of those shots hit him anyway, who cares?
Also, what kind of horrible ass security does City Hall have that, there was literally cops standing right there. Nobody
Yeah,
does anything?
I know. What happens even when people are angry and they decide that they're going to protest in front of a majorly supposed to be secure area and still manage to get access to the most important regions of our government? Just saying.
He's a great Alfred.
Yes.
I'm also really appreciating the struggle that Bruce Wayne is having as Bruce Wayne and not just Bruce Wayne being an impediment to operating as Batman.
Yep. Those are some really nice photos.
Yes.
Like those are model shoot photos, man. That's kick ass.
Also, that appears to be much more than just a Rubik's Cube. That's like a Rubik's dodecahedron. Jesus Marimba? Beautiful Dreamer?
Now contrast this, like these photos and things like that are relatively innocuous, and compare that with Jared Leto sitting, not sitting, laying on the floor with all those guns around in Suicide Squad.
Yep.
The reason I bring that up is because there's nothing wrong with the Joker being militant, using guns primarily, all that. I'm not against that. It's just, like I said, there's a certain variation to it that I felt was missing in that.
Cue music. Hello and welcome to Capes on the Couch for Comics Get Counseling. I'm Anthony Sitko.
Wait, the more important thing is, why is her suit so oversized?
Seriously, that's some David Byrne oversized type stuff. She looks like it's in one of those challenges where it's like wear as many shirts as you can.
Mm-hmm. And even as a little kid, I would say to myself, oh, she's living my struggle. It's like, no, don't laugh when someone mentions a death. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Oh. I don't care how hilarious it was.
A little song, a little dance, a little seltzer down your pants. Back in the day when, you could take over the airwaves like that in an analog fashion.
As opposed to, sending a phishing email to an undisclosed YouTube link with the same information that everybody starts to find out about and it goes viral. Also, underrated. I know we're used to dark and brooding, and I know we're used to being serious and everything, but Keaton gives the view of, holy crap, this is fascinating. I better figure this out, as opposed to like just being immediately disgusted. And I think there's a subtle difference there. Like just this detective side of like, I don't know exactly what's going on. I know I need to pay attention, but I also can't lose my cool. Or he's trying to remember what he had for breakfast. Either way. Because no, that's just his look. I know that, but I'm just saying it gives that view.
No, he definitely has the appearance. And this woman is very, very...
Yeah, the whole point is because it's in cosmetic products, so they can't use makeup for TV. That's the point.
So clearly without...
Yes, I know. It's going too far.
Or anything.
I know. It's going too far the other way. I know. Even as
meth
a little
is a
kid,
hell of a drug.
Even as a little kid, I was like, okay, this is too far. I got the point.
Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? He's the district attorney. That's not his responsibility.
Don't get real law into this. Gotta admit, this version of Alfred, though, is definitely put more as like the background help butler as opposed to the guy that keeps absolutely everything on track.
Yes. Yes, this Alfred is much more or not as prominent. How is this a museum?
They have top men working on it right now.
Top men. This looks like a bank vault out of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, this is one of those areas where you're supposed to freeze frame and you're supposed to like look at every piece and see if there are Easter eggs or whatnot.
The Flugelheim Museum. Urgent. Urgent. Dutch angles. Now this is like pure 66 right here. The way this is shot, and
which once again, it's kind of like, no, these things wouldn't happen this way in any capacity, but whatever. You cannot control an aerosolized substance that simply. Which reminds everybody, make sure you have your N95s, okay? We're still not completely out of the woods yet.
Yes, if you're listening to this in early to mid 2021, let's stay safe.
I just love the idea that random gangsters that work for him, either because they think he's, totally crazy, or because they actually have a boss now that allows them to have fun. I wonder either way, the fact that they just go along with this. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's some like badass looking guys, and yet they're dancing around and
right,
painting.
Which makes me wonder, in terms of the vetting process for that, kind of like, how would you feel about just, wrecking shop in a museum? Like, and if you say no, you get shot on sight. And if you say yes, then there's only a 50% chance that you get shot on sight. So you survive. It's like, congratulations, you made the cut. I kind of like this one.
You got to think like one of the mooks is like, I wanted to be an artist when I got older. And now I'm in here and, this guy's paying my bills and he's doing unspeakable things to this wonderful Degas piece.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Tangled, I had a dream.
A theme from a summer place. I don't think anybody wants to think about Jack Nicholson in the bath, but also it's just, I know it's supposed to be discomforting to look at, but just the prosthetics on his mouth
Mm-hmm.
to create the cheekbones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I know the timing is off, but in hindsight, I really feel like they had an opportunity to create Harley. If you see
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
getting at, you know?
For timing, I thought you meant that there's the timing is off between you and me
No, no,
watching the movie
no.
because I was like, I think you're a couple of seconds ahead of me.
I am. I am. Um, but what I was getting at, no, was just like in terms of when Harley was introduced to the
Oh
world.
yeah,
That's all. And there were a couple of times I was trying to sync up a little better with you and delaying my responses, but
that's okay.
I love this.
Little whiff of my posy.
I love how she tries to console it. Like it's like, really? Considering what he just tried to do, your first thought is to console him? As opposed to, run the hell away?
Well, I think it speaks to the good nature that, she is as a person.
Eh. As opposed to sleeping with a rich guy and trying to get more dirt on him? Just saying.
I don't know where he got them from, but my parents went to Toys R Us and occasionally KB.
Oh. Which, once again, is one for the archives.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people are listening to this and saying, oh, Toys R Us, I heard of that.
I think our audience is not so young as to be unfamiliar with Toys R Us. This is my favorite Batmobile, by the way, out of all of them.
I think you mean this is the Batmobile.
I watched a Mythbusters prove that a turn like that is physically impossible.
Yes. Yes, I saw that one.
And somewhere Biff Tannen is covered in feces.
Oh no, it's a slow moving backhoe.
Well, so much for Batman being an urban legend.
How phallic.
Batman had Bluetooth before there was Bluetooth.
I've watched a couple of YouTube clips with people creating the bat grappling hook. It's pretty cool.
I just appreciate that he took the time to ask her weight to like factor in if it was possible for him to, you know, bring her up and all that jazz.
The idea that you had to use Flash. Now, the fact that there was a camera flash going off for every hit he landed, do you think that was kind of a mini homage to the 66?
Oh, absolutely. Now, is this turbo or ozone?
Once again, to give credit to the gangsters, like which one of them said, like, well, dude, I've taken some really awesome, weapons classes. Do you think I get a chance to bust that out once in a while?
Okay, sure. I missed the day, though, where they teach you how to defend against a front kick to the face. Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Also, shout out to having to replace bulbs in film.
Yes. Yes, kids. Not everything was digital back then. You actually had literal flash bulbs.
So for my wedding, that was one of the selling
Rear
points.
Window.
For my wedding, when we were looking at photographers, that was one of the selling points. Oh, we don't need, you don't have to worry about us having to replace things. We're all digital now.
He's got the remote, though.
As they drive through the Children of the Corn.
I think if you take a left, there's Halloween Town up here.
I mean, this is Wizard of Oz type shit.
This is seriously like, this is where Jack Skellington was wandering before he found the entrance to Christmas Town.
Well, I don't think that car is carbon neutral.
You're not Batman. You're Michael Schumacher. That's such a Burton transition. Like
Uh-huh.
just that zoom in to the.
Yep.
Have to be several miles away, I would imagine, at that speed. And
Oh yeah.
also purely from a design standpoint, the fact that, they're building all this stuff on ledges. I, I work in I work in transportation. I work with a lot of project managers. I just really don't think that's structurally sound. From a geological standpoint.
No, I got you. Like anybody that's ever worked or been in a mine, been in a cave, like you do not design things this way. There's a reason why those ledges are usually one person, anywhere between 1 to 2 feet total. Like you can't do it.
Yeah, there's no OSHA here.
Yeah, this is where he starts spurging a little bit.
There's a lot of fine people on both sides.
And I do love this
Some
cinematography.
people say.
Yeah, I just love this cinematography. The whole point that you just barely see his eyes and you see them darting and everything. It's like, okay, you're pointing out that he's psychotic and yet you're looking completely unhinged. Good to know.
A normal life. How did he know where to get it? Yeah, it's real hot. You can find it on my OnlyFans. What can you make of this? Oh, I can make a hat. I can make a brooch. He shot the TV and yet acts surprised that it
I
exploded.
I love that, not necessarily even surprised, just more like, whoa, that does more than I thought. Like
Yeah, he went Elvis on the TV and he's like, oh, it exploded.
maybe he just thought the glass would break, you know?
She can't handle the truth.
Why two flowers? Why?
One for him, one for her. Also, what apartment building has weird art like that in the hallway?
pretty freaking upscale. That's what.
She's able to afford it on a photographer's salary. I call bullshit.
Once again, she's sleeping with a rich guy in order to dig up dirt. You really need to go further? Wouldn't get away with this now.
Oh, no. I do appreciate that he's cutting to the chase of the whole, like, no, poor communication kills kind of thing.
Yes. I like her reaction too, because that seems like the most common thing that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get back to the sitcom style.
It's almost Goldblum-esque.
Yes.
I also like how, as he's describing this, he's looking out because he has to envision it because it's so foreign to him.
Yes. Kind of like job. That's what the kids do, right?
Yes. That's what the kids call it.
And that's the thing, because I always, you know me, and he just mouthed it, but that was the point. It was like, I'm like, I can't fault this type of logic because, yeah, I could imagine this is super, super hard.
Mm-hmm.
And easily one of the smoothest things that I love, which still would have put him in the hospital.
Yep.
I know I'm a broken record with this, but please, anyone, yes, you can survive if you have proper protection for a bullet. You will still be seriously hurt. Do not test these things out. Of course, there's another obvious thing about this.
What? Using cassettes?
Yes, but just, just you'll see. You'll see. What if he shot him in the head? Even as a little kid, I was like, what if he shot him in the head?
Or shot him again?
Anything. I'm just all of it. But that easily is my dad's favorite line. Never dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
I like never rub another man's rhubarb. And he just leaves her?
That's the point when you see what happened, and it's like, wait, what? To which, once again, even if you go by that tin, which it wouldn't do it that way, but if you're saying that, the contusion itself, he's got a gaping hole in his chest or a broken rib or two.
Definitely at least a broken rib, even if you're wearing.
And not just that, with that location, if that hit the mammillary artery, he would be bleeding out and would die without intervention. So just saying.
Bruce Wayne is screwed up? It's a first. I never heard that before. Microfilm.
Yeah.
It's like watching my parents do genealogical research. Well, as we discussed with Dr. Langley, there is an unfortunate body of evidence surrounding children who have witnessed their parents murdered in front of them.
One of whom I got to treat a couple of weeks ago.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I mean, in theory, it's it's going better than it could have in the past. So. I mean, it didn't involve a movie, not movie there, but it didn't involve an alley and just a random robbery. It was one parent. Just, I'm not getting into details. Sorry.
No, I'm not asking you to. The old testing the microphone by tapping on it. And they're turning on the screen like they're at the press conference, but they're looking.
Yeah, yeah.
If they can see that and there's interference, then that means that they could have, in theory, been watching their own performance, which would have led to a tremendous amount of feedback.
Good point. Wow, in his Steve Jobs look.
Yeah, right? Mano y mano, by the way, technically means man and man, not man to man. Should be mano a mano.
Yes.
My 5 years of Spanish coming back to me.
Well, if we're going to do Spanish, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble. Here's your scene.
Right. Now I remember.
Definitely gives a different variation to get your popcorn ready.
The sequence that birthed Zack Snyder's career. Who still has popcorn left after a movie is over?
People that aren't as gluttonous as you or I.
But I also just mean, like, who brings it out of the theater?
People that are not as gluttonous as you or I.
Pearls and popcorn. It looks nothing like young Nicholson. Just saying. You let her in?
You gotta like Alfred just basically saying, "Yeah, dude, sorry to blow up your spot, but yeah."
Yeah, that is totally the Steve Jobs look, like black turtleneck jeans. Now I'm thinking Lonely Island, turtleneck and chain, turtleneck and chain. I let you in.
But
That right there, that's Batman.
yep.
Yeah, I know there's a homicidal maniac trying to kill lots of people who's got a massive plan for tonight, but never mind that. Let's talk about you and me.
Seriously, that's just such a deranged look. I love it.
as he completely zones out, as the tab under his tongue finally kicks in. I also love that it shoots out just the rectangle.
Mm. Like, guys, that after the first 2 or 3, you don't keep shooting. You don't.
Yeah, but it's like the military shooting at Godzilla. You know, they bring in the tanks, they bring in the airplanes and all that. Nothing ever works. No, let's keep firing at them.
Eh.
Also, I'm not a car guy, but I got to think a car that rides that low to the ground has got to have some suspension issues.
I mean, I guess you could deuce it out, man, and just you know lift it a little. Anybody have any thoughts on that clown nose? Just hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes the clown nose is just a clown nose.
Now, this is way above my pay grade, pun intended. Uh, how many people would fall for this?
I mean, QAnon exists, so
The idea that someone announces on TV they're just going to be throwing money in the streets, really? I mean, if anything, I feel like it's the opposite because people are so distrustful, they'll believe conspiracy theories. That's kind of my take on it.
no. See, I'm of the mindset that people are dumb enough that they're here. Money? Yes, I will be there.
Well, I mean, there's also the idea of right now, this sort of thing just points out, see, this is exactly why I invest in Bitcoin. Because they're just totally devaluing the dollar right now with garbage like this. You need something that's considered a hard currency.
Isn't this Biden's COVID relief bill that just passed? Isn't that what they're doing? It's just, let's just throw money, 1.9 trillion. Yeah, just throw it in the middle of the street. Everybody, you get money. You get money. Everybody gets money.
Once again, this is 2021, people, depending on when you're listening to this. So just to make sure we all are on the same page.
Yeah, Gotham's Creed. She's like, yeah, I need to get a really good picture of this. I'm gonna zoom in on one random goon just dancing. I totally had the backplane toy, by the way. It was awesome.
And don't get me wrong, I know there are plenty of people that are pilots that did it in their spare time, but the amount of training that he would have to do in addition to the physical conditioning and in addition to all the things that he's knowledgeable about and taking the time reading all that, that's not an easy thing. Especially with that type of vehicle that he's flying. That's not something that you take up as a hobby on weekends.
According to a quick internet search, to get a private pilot license, you need 40 hours.
Not for jet propulsion.
A commercial pilot certificate is 250 hours.
There you go.
And now the balloon starts to look like a chungus.
Which, once again, you cannot control aerosolized substances.
It would just immediately dissipate. He's going to kill everybody. This is a surprise?
You were right there. He was threatening to maim you multiple times. He, in theory, if it hadn't been for quick thinking, would have killed your boyfriend. I mean, what did you what did you really think? It's like, oh, well, that's personal. I wouldn't think that he would do it to others.
I didn't think the leopards would eat my face, says woman who voted for the leopards face eating party, or face eating leopards party, whatever it is.
And there is no level of basic training that allows you to fly like this. Okay, I stand by my statement.
I appreciate the flip that he did.
Yes.
Before landing in the van.
Cars are not fully gas proof, so I don't understand how any of that works. Just saying. Like they're not protected.
Also, those are either some really wide ass streets or that's a narrow ass plane.
Yes. Once again, a turn that no.
And he did it at speed.
Uh-huh.
Worst Macy's parade ever.
You can't control aerosolized products. Just bringing
Also,
it up
that's
a level.
horrible for the environment. And those balloons are probably, going to land somewhere and create more problems.
I guarantee you there was an increase in psychosis probably somewhere in Southeast Asia because of that. People just going like totally, out of control and don't even know why.
Poor Bob.
And of course, gratuitous.
Yep. Fly above the clouds, get the logo shot. Even as a kid, I was like, I mean, that's cool looking, but why?
Well, once again, given the way Keaton has played it, I could see him saying, you know what? I just got to stunt this one time.
I'm going to flex on these clowns.
Quite literally.
Also, I know I'm not supposed to kill, but
I'm sure as hell going to scare the shit out of him. Which is just like the Heath Ledger version.
Oh, yeah. Hit me.
Come on.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Hit me, hit me, hit me. Luke, you switched off your targeting computer.
And easily the most gratuitous.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I absolutely love this when I first saw it. I'm like, this is the dumbest. Mainly because I could totally picture him just saying like, okay, that's just ridiculous. And then it's like, oh, wait, that thing actually shoots?
Yep. Not like the thing that always really upset me was the fact that there's nothing about the gun that's spectacular other than it's a really long barrel. But I'm supposed to believe that because it's got like an extra foot on the barrel, that it's able to take down the bat plane.
The idea would be that the round it contains is not a typical caliber bullet.
I get that. I just watching it, I was like, but why?
Right. And of course, it wouldn't do anything to the plane. The only way something like that would work, it's the opposite. It would be that it's piercing, and therefore your idea would be it's striking the driver. Wouldn't do crap to the plane.
Yeah.
Do you think he's compensating?
Frankly, I'm just impressed at the wrist strength he has to be able to hold that up, because you have to think that the length of the barrel is really weighing down.
Yeah, good point. Maybe that's how he developed the wrist strength, all that compensating. The type of innuendo I wouldn't have gotten the first time I saw this movie.
Again with the church. Seriously,
Take
where's
me to
John
church.
Woo? See, that's not
There
what
you go.
I'm thinking. Joker singing more like, "God damn, you think you cool? You think I'm not? You think you tough? God damn, you think you hard? You think I'm soft? You think you rough? You talking shit? Better close your lips. You need to hush before the end of the night. I'm gonna have to take your ass to church." Oh, there's the doves. There's John Woo.
Mm.
Yeah, see, you went Hosier, I went T-Pain.
Yeah. No masters or kings when the ritual begins. And when you actually know the context of that song, or if you've seen the video, actually, it really is pretty freaking fitting.
We're supposed to believe that they climbed all those stairs and they're breathing normally.
No, we're supposed to think that the adrenaline of the situation is allowing them to ignore the typical limitations of human physiology.
Because I got to tell you, I'm a fairly decent guy, but if I do 15 to 20 flights of stairs, my glutes are on fire and I'm going to be walking funny.
As always, my goal with this has been to ask the question for this scene. Why? Like, just in general, why?
So they can make a bats in the belfry joke. and the other shoe.
Yeah. I love that. It's like, well, the commissioner couldn't move it. Guess we gotta stop. We gotta watch this. Now, I don't know if you remember this particular scene or not.
Again,
in terms of the fight.
No.
Okay. So even as a little kid, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. He's already shown what he's capable of, and then out of nowhere we get this. You'll see.
There it is. I think Burton wrote the final scene just in the church, just so he could do what?
Yeah. You'll see.
Oh. Also, where did that random goon come from?
Oh, it doesn't end. They basically just get some big black dude swinging a chain that's basically proving to be an equal to Batman in a one-on-one fight. And I, even as a kid, I'm like, what?
Judo toss. So that body armor can stop bullets, but
I'm
not
telling
punches.
you, man, there was something about this where even as a little kid, I'm like, I don't know who this character is, but they probably do need to feature him in a movie if he's able to do this.
Seriously.
Then, of course, this happens. Yeah. So there's that. The end. But still, even for what it was, I was like, what?
So Batman doesn't kill his enemies. He's just perfectly content with absolutely letting that guy fall.
I don't have to, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you, except I did an exact move that clearly would kill anyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the fall that will kill you. It's the sudden stop at the bottom.
And this made me uncomfortable as a child, and I realize this makes me uncomfortable now.
Yeah. Mr. J. Puddin'.
Now you know why I love that Scott Kurtz comic so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the other thing
I'm
about
waiting for
this.
Keith David to answer.
Nice. Uh, that's some serious upper body strength, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah. And grip strength.
Yes. Yes. Now, some people have critiqued this and saying, like, there's no way that those bricks would give way. I'm not knocking my employer when I say this. We've actually gone up to the bricks in our building and could take off whole shards with just our bare hands. So, a building that old, yes, if you put that type of force directly to it, yes, it could do that. Maybe not in those huge chunks, but just saying.
I think people who are focusing on that aspect of the fight and this movie are really looking at the wrong thing.
And I don't know if it was this movie in particular, but for most superhero movies, I kind of realized the whole theme of them was compared to the comics where you knew these were going to be recurring characters for the sake of movies, you don't necessarily want to do that. So you end up killing people off. So that's, like I said, I don't know if I remember that specifically because of this movie, but it was like, oh, huh, wow. So you're not going to have another one with him in it. And I just kind of got that idea throughout. So it was never a surprise to me. Which is kind of why I think I started. This is going to sound like blasphemy based on what we do. It's kind of why I started appreciating cinematic versions of comic characters and stories compared to the comics themselves. I don't mind things running to their completion.
Oh, I don't either. I think if it makes logical sense, if there's a clear ending point, then you end it. Dragging something on just to continue it is silly. Boy, that's some bad animation.
Yeah. Then we get the classic, like what we know with Batman as a grappling hook. And by the way, watch your spine snap.
Yeah, right.
And even if it worked, that thing ain't retracting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he'd be liquefied from that height.
And I've actually seen those photos of that sort of thing. It's bad. It's a crime scene. It's a crime scene. No. Oh. You don't touch you don't touch a crime scene with your bare hand. Commissioner, what the hell, man? You just ruined the case. Dude, that would have been thrown out almost instantly because of that. Holy shit.
I saw the bat dick. I'm good. Please inform the citizens of Gotham.
By the way, most journalists are way more protective of their spot if they're that close to the action. He wouldn't have been able to just walk up like that to ask that question. Just,
Also, a spotlight would not have created such a clear image like that.
Right.
It would have just eventually trailed off and it would have just looked like a light shining in the sky.
Perhaps a party bus with a pole?
No. That's Tony Stark. The slightest gust of wind and he's falling off.
Oh, yeah. At that height, man, oh, man, you do not stand still on that. You're bracing and everything.
Well, this has been fun.
Yes. Yes, it has.
And so that's going to do it for our Batman commentary. I hope you enjoyed that. I know Doc and I have spoken about our Patreon, that doing something like this a little more regularly for our patrons is something that we've considered. So I think this was a good pilot, so to speak, for that idea, to be able to say, okay, let's see how this plays. And so if that's something that you're interested in, go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Capes on the Couch, and subscribe there. And we get a few more folks to sign up. We'll start doing this maybe monthly. Except I also promise that the movies that we cover for the Patreon will not be nearly as good as as this one. This was a good movie. We're going to cover stuff like the Fantastic Four movie. Any of them.
Yeah.
Or, Jonah Hex or something. So that's going to, as I said, that'll do it here. So upcoming episodes, next week is the final episode of our Bat March month. And so it's going to be an hour-long skit. The entire episode is going to be a therapy session. Let's see what happens when Batman gets on Dr. Issues' couch. And then we'll come out of that with a fun one, Elastigirl, as selected by Janine, our present level patron. So we'll be getting back into the regular swing of things starting in April. As always, you can find all of our episodes on our website, capesonthecouch.com. And we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Capes on the Couch. Feel free to interact with us. Shoot us an email, capesonthecouch@gmail.com as well. And so that's about all I've got. This was fun watching this after 30 years. Obviously, there was things I didn't remember, but this is cool to do this. What about you, Doc?
Oh, this was amazing. I'm glad I got to relive this movie again. I've seen it so many times, and it's never disappointing.
Very cool. So for Doc Issues, I'm Anthony Sitko. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Capes on the Couch podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Dr. Issues is a psychiatrist, but he is not your psychiatrist and does not have knowledge of your individual situation. For any personal mental health concerns, please consult your own healthcare providers. For medical emergencies, please call 911 or the designated number in your area immediately. Remember that you are not alone and help is out there.